Guys, Zion Spectrum. Today we're doing react to Wolfychu videos. Said this is how I learned Japanese, and also Happy Father's Day, everybody. Yep, this is my first time I reaction to Wolfychu. Also, guys, subscribe her channel. Click her notification button. Okay, let's get started. 3, 2, 1, let's go!
I think probably the majority of people
I don't
who
need
watch
to
such anime have had the
caption.
thought, maybe I could learn Japanese.
What?
I mean, I already know words like konnichiwa or
Konnichiwa?
俺はホカゲになるだとはよ. How hard can it be? Look, I was one of those people too. In this video, I'm going to show you my daily Japanese routine, an example of myself speaking Japanese, because even though you guys have heard me sing in Japanese, I haven't actually spoken it on my channel before. And I'm going to show you everything that I've done to get up to this point. So let's go! I've been watching anime since I was in school, and since I first discovered it, and I mean discovered it in the sense of realizing that it was Japanese animation, I always chose to watch the subbed over the dubbed because I just preferred listening to the original voices.
Wolfychu.
And then over time, without trying to, I started picking up a lot of Japanese words. Until
I know,
one day,
right?
it got to a point where I was able to watch anime without needing to rely on the subtitles to understand what was going on. Are you saying you became fluent in Japanese from just watching anime?
What?
Not quite. My understanding wasn't 100%, and it depended on what kind of anime I was watching too. Obviously, an anime like Death Note is going to be a lot harder to keep up with than an anime like Lucky Star. And I also already had enough confidence in my pronunciation to sing songs in Japanese too, which you guys might have already seen on my channel.
Called Japanese.
So I've been interested in Japanese for quite some time, but never tried learning it seriously until January
And also, I'm a big
last
fan
year,
of anime.
where I decided that it is something that I really wanted to do. So I made a New Year's resolution back then to start studying it. So where did I start? At the beginning, I had no idea.
What?
I thought maybe I should start with learning how to read. When you're at the very beginning of learning Japanese, you might think, I don't really need to know how to read. I'm sure I can get by without it. I'll just skip that part. I get it.
I know.
It's pretty intimidating to figure out how
I don't know
all of this
learn how to
works,
read the Japanese.
but you should
I don't
really learn how to read. So I memorized hiragana and katakana and then made a start on kanji. And I say made a start on it because realistically, how am I going to memorize every single kanji that
10,000
characters,
characters,
look at this
Jenny.
number. Most people agree that the most important thing to do when you're learning a language is to surround yourself in it, which is what I did.
Yeah.
And no, you don't have to pack up and move to Japan for that, even though that would probably be really fun. Basically, you want to swap out a lot of the things you watch in English with Japanese instead. You're gonna watch a movie tonight? Change that language to Japanese. You're playing a video game that lets you change the audio language? Japanese. I was already watching a lot of Japanese media in my everyday life anyway, so this was a pretty easy change for me. I already watch a lot of Japanese shows, listen to Japanese music, I watch Japanese streamers, which by the way, it sounds really obvious, but I do think sometimes people forget. Listening to real people speaking the language is so important. You want to include listening to people speaking naturally because your goal is to learn how to speak naturally in Japanese like them, and not just like a voice actor in anime. I remember when I first started doing this, it seemed so fast and impossible to understand, but I slowly got used to it. I think that when a lot of people look at me, they expect it to be a lot easier for me because I'm already fluent in 2 languages, so what's one more kind of thing. But this didn't mean that I immediately knew good strategies for learning languages. Because I never purposefully went out trying to learn Spanish, I just grew up bilingual. But I do think that it helped me in some ways. Like, it meant that it never seemed like such a big, jarring thing that things like word order in sentences is different. And the vowel sounds are pretty much exactly the same as Spanish too. Which is how I went into it with a pretty good idea on how to pronounce words already. And it's coming pretty naturally for me to be able to learn to think in the language while listening to it instead of focusing on every individual word to translate into English before being able to understand it. I think that's a pretty important hurdle to get over to be able to have real conversations with other people. I'm pretty good at not really having questions when it comes to the grammar and just accepting that that's simply how the language works, memorizing it and moving on to the next thing. I think it's debatable whether that's a good mindset or not. So what is my Japanese learning routine?
Learning
Every day,
routine?
Usually first thing in the morning,
What's
I get
learning
onto
routine
Anki,
means,
which is a
Wolfychu?
flashcard-style language app, and I study kanji on there. Then I do one lesson in Duolingo, which honestly I mostly just do because it has a daily streak system which helps keep me motivated for daily studying. Because I don't want to break my 500-day streak. Look at that face. I don't want to mess with that. And then, while I work, I'm always listening to either YouTube videos or live streams, and I try to have a couple hours every day where it's completely all in Japanese. Although, since I am multitasking while doing this, I usually add in some time to watch more Japanese content after I
Kiki's
finish
Delivery
working
Service.
for the day too.
I do like that movie.
So that this way, I also have time to be completely focused on what I'm watching. Like watching anime. Right now, I'm also watching the new live action of Kimi ni Todoke too. I've also played multiplayer games in random Japanese lobbies as well to see how my conversation skills are. And it led to some pretty funny experiences. Since I first began studying Japanese almost a year and a half ago, I've definitely learned a lot. My reading speed still isn't that good, but it's getting there. The honest truth for you, if you're considering trying to learn Japanese too, is that it's a big commitment and it's gonna take a long time. A long time.
Oh,
There's
long
gonna be
time?
a lot of roadblocks, and
Why?
you're going to get frustrated. Going in from just knowing English especially, Japanese is one of the hardest languages
sorry
you can
about
try
that.
to learn. It's
I
probably
apologize.
still gonna be years
But just
until
be careful
I
on
reach
my
the level
phone.
of fluency that I'm aiming
Because
for.
I had to hold on.
But that's okay, cause
Just
I'll
don't want to
keep
drop it.
going. I am still enjoying
If I drop
myself
it,
a
it's
bit
my
too.
fault.
But props to the people who are out there learning multiple languages at once, because taking on one language is already so much work. And yes, there are so many different ways you can go about learning a language. I've even seen videos claiming that they can teach you a whole language in your sleep. I don't know what the credibility is like for those methods, but I know that I could never try it because as someone who can only sleep on my side, the thought of having any kind of headphones on all night sounds terrible. And I think that if I use
I'm okay with
waking
that.
up to the voices would freak me out. Let me know if you've tried it though. I also didn't want to get lessons either because I wanted to self-learn in my own time. And the methods that I've talked about today are just the ones that are currently working for me. There are definitely days where it can seem really overwhelming because there's just so much that needs to be learned. But the end goal and the days where I feel like I've made a lot of progress just make it all worth it. And once I'm trilingual, no one will be able to stop me. I thought I could also speak some Japanese for you too in this video, so here goes. じゃあ自己紹介から始めようと思います。私はウォルフィチュです。絵を描くのが好きな YouTuber です。いつも私を応援してくれてありがとうございました。日本語を真剣に勉強し始めてからも1年半が経ちました。まだまだですが、これが私の進歩です。これからも頑張っていきたいと思います。私の日本語はどうだったかな？なんか急に緊張してきた。コメントで知らせてくださいね。Well, that was fun. If you're...
Yeah. Just subscribe her. I know, right? Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget like, comment, subscribe, comment section below. And Ryan's filming videos. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye. And also, happy Father's Day to you, everybody.